On 1st of February 2004, a Super Bowl Sunday match. 90 million Americans were sitting on their couches, drinks in their hand and eyes on the screen. Nobody was paying attention to a car wash parking lot in Sarasota, Florida. Literally nobody except one man. In less than 30 seconds, he walked up to a 11-year-old girl, grabbed her arm and vanished instantly. Luckily, whole thing was captured on camera. However, what followed? The investigation, the confession, the courtroom, nothing else. This is one of the most disturbing case the country has ever witnessed. My name is Sharik and today we are going to talk about Carly Brucia. Stay with me because this story is a lot more darker and important than you think. Before we get into this matter, I wanted you to know about Carly Brucia. Carly Jane Brucia was born on 16th of March 1992 in Long Island, New York. She was kind of a kid who make a room warmer only by walking into it. Her teacher called her sweet and her principal called her a shining light. That was what Carly Brucia was every single day. If we talk about her history, when she was young, her parents divorced and she moved with her mom to Sarasota, Florida. And on every winter break, she always loved to go back for vacations to Long Island. Christmas was her favorite part of time every year. When she was in 6th standard, she was a bright student. She loved to sing. She was quite devoted to her cat. And also, she was a huge fan of Jennifer Lopez. But suddenly, on evening of 1st of February 2004, this is exactly what happened. Carly has spent a night before with her friend. Just a normal sleepover. By early evening of Super Bowl match, she decided to go to her home, which was less than a mile away, in order to see the game with her family. Her friend's mom did a right thing. She called her mom. She just called her mom just to check. But the good news was, her mom denied to let her go alone because she don't want her daughter to walk home lonely at night. Usually most of the Sarasota streets are silent at the night, and especially on that night everyone was glued to their television, so it was extra silence that night. About an hour ago, 911 call came in and their parents started to speak slowly but in fear. My daughter is missing. She is gone. We are unable to find her anywhere. This was their response. They said, how old was she? Their parents responded, 11. Just like that, a normal Super Bowl Sunday match turned into something else for that family. When police arrived, they retraced her steps. They bought the search dogs and they used her scent in order to track her. A bloodhound named Ruby instantly detected some traces. She tracked it immediately in her neighborhood, right behind a car wash on B Hitch Road, and they took the owner to a trial. In order to prove his innocence, he directly said his garage has surveillance services, which means there were CCTV cameras. The police pulled up the footages. One camera, nothing. The second camera, still nothing. Then they got the camera 3 footage, which was capturing the behind part of their property. They played the timestamp 6:21 p.m., the exact time when Carly Brucia disappeared. And suddenly, every officer was stilled at that moment. A young girl in red t-shirt suddenly came into a frame. That was Carly Brucia. Another second, another man appeared, around 5'8", dark hairs and a tattoo on his arm with a name on his chest. He walked up to her and exchanged some words. Then he reached out, grabbed her arm and suddenly started to walking. The whole thing in less than 30 seconds. This was not a misunderstanding. This was clearly an abduction case, caught on camera in broad daylight when everyone was busy watching the Super Bowl match on that Sunday. The entire footage was viral, and it was viral before the viral itself word came out. News station instantly picked her up and her footage started to run on the television across the country. The investigators watched the footage further. Just 3 minutes before Carly was abducted, they saw a pale yellow 1992 van which pulled into the same parking lot. Deliberately calculated and predatory. Joseph Peter Smith, 37-year-old suspect, originally from Brooklyn, an unemployed mechanic living in Sarasota. When investigators pulled up his record, it was deeply troubling. At least 13 arrests in heroin possession and in fraud. He was also previously charged for kidnapping as well. He has violated his probation various times. Detective River drove back to Smith's home with the backup. They showed him the Smith's footage in a surveillance camera. They showed Smith a still surveillance footage. And suddenly Smith replied, "This looks like me, but actually it is not me." Yeah, definitely. I was not. On 4th of February 2004, a man walked to the police station and demanded to talk with the FBI. His name was John Smith, who was also the Joseph's brother. John told the police that he recognized the Joseph from the photo. His girlfriend pointed out that Joseph had a back surgery years ago. It permanently changed the way he walks, so she instantly spotted that he was him. At the same night, on 11 p.m., Joseph showed up on John's front door. He was wearing his mechanic uniform and wearing brand new boots that John never seen before. Joseph said to John, "Do you need anything?" John said no and shut the door. The next morning, Joseph showed up at John's workplace, who was washing his hands again and again, even when they were already clean. Joseph pulled John aside and said they need to change the state immediately. When FBI got all the proofs, he was jailed immediately. However, on probation, he was allowed to meet his mother and his brother. Police has no surveillance on John, and I think that was the biggest mistake FBI did. And Joseph believed that it was recorded. When FBI recorded that, 3 agents picked up their car and started to follow Joseph. Joseph broke down and apologized. However, it was too late. In thick bush behind the church, they found Carly Brucia. She was 4 days gone. DNA from Carly Brucia's cloth matched Joseph. In 2005, Joseph Peter Smith was sentenced to death. He was guilty of kidnapping, harassment, and first-degree murder. But the legal story didn't end there. After many years later, Supreme Court ruled out the death sentence. In 2021, after 17 years, when execution date was about to perform, Joseph Smith died in prison from illness. The legal process never reached its intended conclusion. Now here is a thing. Joseph Smith had 13 arrests. He had violated probation multiple times. Even weeks before, when Carly was taken, he also violated probation multiple times. Yet no serious action was taken. If the system was blunt and it follows its rules strictly, then Carly Brucia would be alive and she would be at least 22 years old by now. After this case, an entire law was proposed, named on Carly Brucia, the Carly Law. It was introduced in Florida to tighten the supervision of repeated offenders. However, it was never passed, and why it was not passed yet is still a mystery. Let that the thing be remembered in your mind when you walked away from this video. This story is not only just a true crime story, it's a story of a system who give repeated chances to repeated offenders, and still they don't take any serious action until it's too late. If this video meant something to you, then subscribe if you are new to this channel. I want you to know what do you think about the systematic failure in this case. Leave your comments right now. See you in the next one.